1977, The White Book by Makaveli, Episode 8, Chapter Subtitle, Conspiracies. Characters: Larry, Lynette, famous game, and we believe that is Damon Dash, formerly of Rockefeller Records. Fortunate Divine, and this could either be Darian Dash or Stacy Dash. Those are just guesses. Not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure famous game is probably Dame Dash. Fame, Dame. And we'll also note the play on words here of fame and fortune between famous game and Fortunate Divine. I don't know much about Darian Dash, but I heard that he's kind of in the game too. So yeah, Fortunate could possibly be Darian, possibly Stacy, not sure. Other characters are Lori, Nard, which I'm assuming is short for Leonard, the Boy, which we could assume is Tupac, Cheris, and Yusef, which according to Whiteout's list, he's got that listed as Mutulu Shakur. Cultural references: Happy Days, Gladys Knight, The Wide World of Sports with Howard Cosell, Jimmy Walker, Different Strokes, Arnold, Willis, Mr. Drummond, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, Happy Days. I guess Happy Days in there twice. You know, these cultural references are used for so many different reasons, but they're generally also showing the time period. And sometimes these are things that came out that year or had a big deal that year. Or in other cases, these are directly tied to the characters in the chapter somehow, indirectly or directly. But I'm just saying they're not there for no reason. They all have a point, a purpose. You got to trust in this author. This guy is a master short story writer and has it all interconnect. New York City, Harlem. They're taking a trip to Los Angeles. I'm assuming they're going to Disneyland and another reason. So Goodman Game and Lynette equal famous game's parents, possibly. So that'd be Dame Dash's parents. And this chapter is about their road trip to LA. A metaphor used in this chapter was when Fame and Fortune were arguing if Mickey and Minnie Mouse were married. Fame points out that Mickey lets his homeboys hang in the Magic Kingdom while he be running it. Even if you're the CEO, you're just the face that everybody sees. You're not the money and the wealth and the directors behind the scenes. New York City, the Bronx. The scene is about a scheme being pulled off by Diosis, Nard, and Lori. Tupac sees Dame Dash and Fortunate going to Disney. Tupac sees them with their fathers and wonders where his father is. He asks Afeni, and Marion Afeni explains to the boy why they move so much because of the movement and the circumstances of their situation. Conspiracy stuff. Nothing happens in politics by chance. If it happens, it was planned that way. And that's a quote from FDR. Conspirare is Latin for meaning to breathe and act in harmony. However, conspire is to plan secretly, an illegal act. If there aren't conspiracies, then why would secret societies and fraternal orders exist? None dare call it a conspiracy. Picture painters. It goes on to discuss that the majority of what we experience are illusions of reality, crafted by the picture painters. And it should cause you to recall the famous opening lines by Tupac on Nothing But a Gangster Party, two of America's Most Wanted. Picture perfect, I paint a perfect picture. Persons. I often see persons referenced in here. Hidden picture. Insiders, the establishment. And the establishment is the Federal Reserve, Trilateral Commission, and the Council on Foreign Relations. And this chapter did reference With No Apologies by Barry Goldwater. We're not talking about a candidate that had no chance at winning. This was the Republican candidate for president in 1964, and then in 1979 he drops With No Apologies. And I remember reading it, and I remember him saying that all the campaign topics for the next 30 years are going to be the same, and that they're never going to get resolved. Topics like healthcare, abortion, gun control, all the stuff that they talked about then, they're still talking about now. And he mentioned the CFR, trilaterals. It was an interesting book. The Plan of the Establishment. The ongoing plan is to abolish the Constitution of the USA by updating the people's programming. Picture painting. In the future, religion won't matter. Science and logic put an end to faith. Information and technology will turn people into gods. And if you've ever seen Devil's Advocate, I don't know if you remember the scene with Al Pacino when he says, "You'll give everybody the chance to be their own individual god." Something to that effect. Meaning that, but I always wonder at this complaint. I think turning people into gods is a great thing. I'm into thou art God. I'm into the idea behind the Rosicrucians about Jesus, saying that, Christians believe that Jesus was a God who became a man, but Rosicrucians believe that Jesus was a man that became a God. And I think that's more empowering to think that way, because that means that you, me, and everybody has God within, and that we all have the ability to become gods. And it's to the controller's advantage to get you to believe that you aren't a god. And if you think of the advice that's always given through films and through self-help, it's always to say they want you to forget who you are. They don't want you to know who you are. They don't want you to know your capabilities, your powers. Your frontal lobe is a reality-creating machine, and what they do is they use your frontal lobe to advance their agenda. And imagine billions of people all being programmed to focus their energies and their thoughts to advance someone else's agenda. Since I could remember, I remember even being 4 years old and watching and seeing TV and thinking, I don't want to watch TV. I want to make TV. I don't want to listen to music. I want to make the music. I don't want to hear other people talk. I want to be the one talking. And I see the picture painters painting a picture that does not advance your life, but advances theirs. That's the majority of everything, is to get you to surrender your reality into someone else's reality. And I'm just not with that. I want you to fully self-actualize. I also love the fact that every time I've talked to Tupac fans, every one of them that believes in the 7-day theory or the no grapes theory or any theory about Tupac being alive, is the line when Tupac said, I'm not saying that I'm going to rule the world or that I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And every one of them all claim that they are the one that Tupac is talking about. And the beauty of that is that just shows the impact that Tupac's had on people. I love that. I think that's awesome. Obviously, I too think that I am the brain that was sparked. But my brain was already sparked. Tupac just threw extra wood onto the fire. But if you're watching this, obviously Tupac is within you as well. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent, but one of my goals with this video series is to express a lot of my positions, my theories, my philosophies, my teachings. And none dare call it conspiracy. So it says information and technology will turn people into gods. Politics won't matter either. Elections are going to become media productions for the public. Democrats and Republicans, both parties, will be led by an invisible government, both of them instruments to promote a new world order. If you think back on the 2012 Republican primaries, there were 19 debates, and they barely let Ron Paul talk. And they didn't even win. The wealthy live in gated communities. They vacation on private island resorts, socialize in members-only spas, clubs, lodges, and fraternal orders. If conspiracy theorists have too much time on their hands, what do you call it when the wealthy have time on their hands? They have a lot more time than the working class does, and they have a whole lot more resources, accountants, lawyers, to concoct their own schemes. But when they do it, that's just big business, or that's just the upper class. When you try to plot, you're called a conspiracy theorist, or when you realize that they have advantages of which you do not have, and then you point those out, you're a conspiracy theorist. I like that this chapter, in a way, defends the plight of the conspiracy theorist. I just want to know what the rules of the game are. And I always heard Tupac say that he knows the rules of the game, and now that he's got it, everything's behind him. He's staring at the world through his rear view. I just wish I knew the rules of the game. He only gave me 2 on blasphemy. There's 2 rules of the game, and I'll share with you this. Get off your butt if you plan to be rich. One of the things I see freedom as is having spare time. The wealthy have spare time, whereas you work the 40-hour work week. 40 hours of your week are occupied every single week. And what are we working for? Do we not have the technology, robotics, automation to provide all of the basic necessities of life so that everyone could live free? Do we not have the distribution mechanisms? After all, if a few wealthy people can, why can't all of us? In the 80s, I saw tons of robots, and I thought to myself, by the time I'm 30, the robots will be doing everything. And I never really planned on having a full-time job because I never saw a need for it based on the way I saw the future to be. And the future did not happen the way it should have. So my main angle in conspiracy theory is finding and exposing how your time, your life, and your hours are wasted. When I read the book 1984 by George Orwell, which I believe is one of the most important books to read, there's a subpart of the book called The Theory and Practice of Oligarchical Collectivism. And in that, he explains that war, the main use for war is not necessarily to kill off the population. It's to destroy the produced goods and the manufactured goods so that people will consistently have to go to work. So it's like if you ever put your finger in an anthill and watch how all the ants go crazy, it's like that's what they're doing to us. And this same theme is repeated in Animal Farm, where the animals on the farm would build a windmill which creates free energy. And right as the windmill is about to be fully constructed, the head pig, Napoleon, would stage a false terrorist attack and blame it on his enemy, Snowball. And then the farm animals would have to go back to work and rebuild that windmill. Ultimately, this part of the chapter was differentiating the double standard against conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy theorists get blamed for having too much time on their hands, but it's okay and they're not supposed to plot and scheme, but when the wealthy do it, it's okay. Excerpts. I'm starting to figure out the excerpts. They're like hyperlinks. Excerpt 10 is the 14 signs to slavery. I don't know where to find excerpt 10. I'm guessing it's on a website somewhere. Excerpt 11. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes magnum opus for social change. Fame and fortunate decide to buy buildings and real estate when they get older and run the town. Questions I've received. Do I think Tupac is alive? Well, of course. Why would I be reading their white book? Have I already read the white book? No, I'm actually reading it right now. As I create these videos, it's right after I read the chapter. As I'm reading the chapter, I'm taking the notes that create these slides. And it's been pointed out to me that Star could be a daughter, that there isn't any gender specified in the chapter, in the opening chapter. And I said it was Tupac's son. Star could also be a daughter. And I also saw in the comments that people think that Star is the daughter. So I apologize for that mistake. And you're right, there is nothing in the text that indicates male or female. So I should not have made that assumption. See you in 1978. Opportunity cost. For me to read these chapters, make these outlines, narrate them, edit, upload, takes a considerable amount of time. Time that I could be using to accomplish other things. This is known as opportunity cost. But thanks for the interest, and that's what's keeping me going. So keep these videos going, keep passing them on, liking them, favoriting, commenting, subbing, passing them on to your friends. As long as there's interest going, I can continue to justify making these videos. I'm trying to bring Tupac Makaveli fans together in a new way. I do know there are Tupac resources on the internet, such as truthabouttupac.com and the tupacshakurchannel.com. I've recently joined truthabouttupac.com. I don't have the spare time. I do work a 40-hour week, and I am a husband, and I have to exercise and whatnot to devote as much time as I would to that site as a forum participant. But consider these videos my participation in it, and I just want to advertise Truth About Tupac and Tupac Shakur channel, as those seem to be very good resources for those that believe Tupac is still around and amongst us. If you have something Tupac related that you want shared in a future video, reach out to me and I'll put it on these last slides. There are also thanks to everybody that has added me on Facebook, Twitter, and subbed this channel and reached out to me and had a few conversations, a few words. I appreciate it, especially the clues and all the neat riddles that have been provided. It's made this journey that much more interesting, and just when you thought you knew it all, you learned something new. So anyway, thanks to everybody that is making this a fun journey. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying experiencing this all with all you. I'll see you all in 1978. Peace out.